This is Steven Stamkos, hoisting the Stanley Cup for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And this is Steven Stamkos at age 34, suiting up for the Nashville Predators. Ugh, it just looks wrong. Stamkos wanted to retire as a member of the Lightning. Unfortunately, the Tampa Bay Lightning management didn't. Stamkos is coming off of the healthiest and most productive 3-season stretch since he was 21 years old. There were no signs that he was slowing down offensively, but the Lightning made a shocking move by signing Jake Guentzel to a 7-year deal worth $9 million per season, way more than they would have had to pay Stammer. A total slap in the face to their captain, any way you spin it. Which leads us to the question, why did Julien BriseBois make this decision? Every player, no matter how good at one point or another, falls victim to father time. Even the greatest superstars. Guys like Crosby and Ovechkin are still playing at world-class levels late into their 30s, but that surely isn't the norm.
From Vasilevsky in front, Ovechkin, Crosby, are you kidding? Once again, it's another Hall of Fame goal.
We wanted to know when star players like Stamkos typically decline. At what point are they no longer worth paying to be a star player? So we compiled this list of the top 25 scores from the years 2006 until 2010, as well as the top 25 scoring forwards from 2011 to 2015. By taking the top scorers from 5-year windows, we get a list of players that dominated as top-line scorers for a significant portion of time, but not necessarily the ones with the best longevity. What we are left with is a list of 38 of the most productive scorers with their points at each age. We adjusted each player's totals in lockout-shortened seasons in order to not skew the data, and didn't qualify players that played less than 25 games. We understand that points don't tell the whole story, but we thought it was a reliable metric to give us a general outlook on these offensive stars' health and offensive impact at various stages of their careers. Okay, sure, everything looks a little messy at first glance, but when we really analyze it, a trend emerges. Let's take Sidney Crosby as an example. His career arc was unique, since all of the players mentioned he was the only player to play at a star level as an 18-year-old, when he scored 102 points in his rookie year.
Still a loose puck picked up by Ricky, shoots and scores! And Sidney Crosby has scored his first goal ever. Oh, slap me silly, Sidney. But the Pens bring it on, here's Crosby running, goal! Shoots and scores! Sidney Crosby! And you can get in the fast lane, Grandma. The bingo game is ready to roll.
Crosby suffered some injuries, particularly concussions that caused fluctuations in his totals. But even at age 36, we see that he was very productive last year, scoring a total of 94 points, the highest of any listed player at 36 years old. Danny Heatley, on the other hand, came into the league as a young star for the Atlanta Thrashers. He made an immediate impact in his first 2 seasons, highlighted by 89 points at age 22, finishing 9th in league scoring at the time. After a tragic car accident and the following NHL lockout, Heatley requested a trade for a change of scenery and joined the Ottawa Senators. There, he emerged as a top scorer alongside Jason Spezza and Daniel Alfredsson on the pizza line.
Flips it across ice, Henderson clears it to Heatley, scores! Heatley! On the power play, and some more.
That goes just wide. Spezza sends it in front, rebound, Heatley scores! 3-on-1, Spezza moves in, slides it across, scores! Danny Heatley with a slingshot goal.
Heatley stayed productive throughout his 20s, peaking again after a trade to San Jose. However, by age 30, his scoring declined rapidly, and after age 33, his career was over. Amongst the players listed, 10 remain in the league, and we only posted their stats up until the end of last season. The other 28 players have not suited up for a game this year, and we are treating them as if their careers are finished. The data looks a little chaotic here, but we assure you that the trends we found change the way we look at aging superstars and what we expect of them. For instance, let's look at the average point totals at each age. What this trend line tells us is that even the best players rarely make an impact before age 20. There is variation regarding when they join the league, but in general, superstars enter the league between ages 20 and 22 and are productive early in their careers. They continue to see their scoring totals climb until they reach age 25, when they typically enter what we would consider the early stages of their prime, but not quite at their peak. The general trend is that they continue to improve until age 27, when they typically enjoy their best offensive seasons through age 30, and at age 31, we see a slight fall off. Then, at age 32, in general, production begins to fall off a cliff. Let's look at another example. Former Anaheim Ducks star tandem Ryan Getzlaf and Corey Perry. At age 21, the duo broke out in the playoffs alongside veterans like Solani, Pronger, and Niedermeyer, and helped the Ducks capture their first ever Stanley Cup. They continued to ascend into league stars. The Ducks were perennial contenders, and these guys were a force to be reckoned with. It was no surprise that they were extended to 8-year contracts worth over $8 million per season each. Well, unfortunately, those deals didn't exactly work out for the Ducks. The pair remained productive for the first 3 seasons, leading the Ducks to the conference finals twice, but when Getzlaf and Perry were 32, they got swept in the first round by the Sharks, and it only got worse from there. The Ducks became the worst offensive team in the league in Getzlaf and Perry's age 33 season and have remained bottom dwellers ever since. Perry was bought out with 2 years remaining on his deal and has been bouncing around the league on fourth lines. Getzlaf, on the other hand, remained captain before announcing his retirement after his age 36 season. The dynamic Ducks pair isn't an anomaly either. Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews were once considered the perfect pair for the Chicago Blackhawks.
Jonathan Toews moving in. What a move! Oh my goodness! Oh man! Oh man! 2-on-1 for Chicago. Kane's going down the slide. He's got the puck. Scored! Oh boy! We have seen Toews and Kane with very, very nice goals tonight.
As their careers progressed, they had accumulated 3 Stanley Cups and looked like they were only getting better. Management extended them to twin contracts for 8 years, each worth over $10 million per season. The deals kicked in when they were 27. How many playoff series do you think Toews and Kane won for Chicago under their lucrative contracts? None. Unless you consider their play-in qualifier against Edmonton during the bubble playoff series. In fairness, Patrick Kane put up elite offensive stats for the duration of his deal. However, his last healthy season where he had star-level production was at age 33. He remains a top 6 forward on the wings at age 36. Toews, on the other hand, had a steeper fall from stardom. At age 32, he missed an entire season due to health reasons, then returned to score less than 40 points per season at ages 33 and 34, and he hasn't played since. Not exactly what the Blackhawks were anticipating when they handed Toews and Kane their massive paychecks. In 2014, the Canucks signed the Sedin twins Henrik and Daniel to $7 million contracts at age 33, the same age as Stamkos when his contract expired with Tampa. Though the twins never quite captured a cup for Vancouver in their primes, they came close in 2011. Still, they were ranked amongst the best offensive players in the league and were recognized as heroes in the city of Vancouver.
Burrows follows up in front to Henrik. Daniel scores!
Daniel in front. Score!
Team and a great bank pass. Henrik to Daniel Sedin. Spinorama scores!
But like so many other stars, the contracts just didn't pan out. At age 34, the Sedins helped the Canucks make the playoffs before losing in round 1 to the Flames. Then, for the remaining 3 years of the deal, the Sedins failed to meet expectations and the Canucks became one of the lowest scoring teams in the league. Following their age 37 season, both players announced their retirement. It's become customary at this point to pay your star players for what they've done for you, in hopes of repetition. But is it really the team's best option if they want to win? Of the players examined, every single one of them scored 80 points or more at least once in their career. But of the 28 retired players we looked at, only 7 of them had an 80-point season after age 32. After age 34, only 5 of them even scored 70 points in any season. What about winning though? Maybe these guys are contributing in ways that offensive production can't measure, right? There's a perception that those grizzled veterans with experience bring added value come playoff time. Well, that might be true of role players, but it certainly isn't the case for star forwards. This graph shows the age at which these players won Stanley Cups, the ultimate goal for every NHL team. The evidence clearly points to younger stars winning more often than older stars. The players listed combined to win 37 Stanley Cups during their careers. 15 of them were won by players when they were 25 or younger. Another 15 of them were won by players ages 26 to 30. Alexander Ovechkin broke the norm when he led the Capitals to a Stanley Cup in 2018 at age 32. In terms of players older than age 32, only 4 of them have won Stanley Cups, and most of them had low salaries. When we began our research, we expected to find that player stats declined over time. But this fact here that so few stars have won cups after age 32 Age32 caught our attention. So we went back to see if maybe there were players not on our list that broke this trend, and there weren't. Dating all the way back to 2005, only 3 forwards older than age 32 have had cap hits above $5 million on Stanley Cup winning teams. And let's not forget that Marian Hossa was under a contract that nowadays would be illegal. The Hawks signed Hossa to a front-loaded 12-year deal that would take him to age 42. The majority of the money was paid out in the first few years of the deal, so Hossa was playing on a total bargain. At age 38, after Hossa's production had declined, it surfaced that he had a rare condition that made his skin so itchy when he wore hockey equipment that he would be forced onto the injured reserve, and the Hawks would be relinquished of his contract against the cap. Right. Contract rules have changed since, but that hasn't stopped teams from making major financial commitments to players well into their 30s. For instance, these players here are currently under the biggest contracts that expire at the oldest age. While some of these contracts might not turn out that badly, it's likely that a few of them will burden their teams in the latter years. So let's circle back to our original question. Why did Julien Brisebois force Stamkos to go to free agency? And was it justified? That's up for interpretation. It could easily be argued that Stamkos has done enough for the Lightning organization and for the city of Tampa Bay that he should have been given an opportunity to prove that he can break past trends. However, based on the numbers, it's likely that his production will decline in the near future. And even if it doesn't, he might be too old to lead a team to a championship as a top-line player.